I'm so excited you are here. I know that last time I did this masterclass, Facebook thought it was really funny to have me looking like an idiot in the beginning of the masterclass. So today I'm going to just assume that this is working and I'm just going to start talking. So if you are jumping on live, drop live below. I am so excited to be helping you with this masterclass today. And of course, if as always you are jumping on the replay, drop replay. Let me know what time it is, okay? So as always, you know me, I am all about giving you the high value. So this is definitely going to be a high value masterclass as always. So let me know in the chat, how many of you are maybe struggling with tech right now? Maybe you have a website and it's not doing anything. Like, let's be honest, sometimes tech can be a bit of a demon that we can't seem to conquer, right? Maybe your website's non-existent because all of the times you try to build it, it's so freaking complicated that you're like, nope, this does my head in, I can't do it, right? And how many of you are really struggling to get the sales that you want? Like, drop me in the chat. Like, sometimes social media can feel like crickets in ghost town, and we talked about that last week, right? But it can feel like crickets in ghost town, and it can feel like a website is just a thing that's sitting there that's costing you money but not actually making you money. So drop me in the chat if you have ever felt like that in your business, okay? Now, you know this is going to be a huge value live, but it may feel like a bit of a fire hose. You know that if I'm showing up to do these lives, I really want to help you. So if you are someone who doesn't want it to get lost in the social media algorithm, we are doing a replay. It's all free, of course. And if you want to get on the replay link, just literally drop the word replay and we will hook you up with the replay so that if social media hides it for whatever reason, you can find it again. You can pause it and rewind it and do whatever you need to, okay? Now, the reason that we do these high value lives, which most people would be charging you for the content that I do, is because I really want to help those that are struggling. I remember what it's like to not be able to afford all the high ticket programs and just needing someone to go, okay, what's step one? Like, what can I do? So if you would really love to help us to get these lives out to other people and make a huge difference, and let's get this movement going that simplicity can actually be the way to hit your goals, then please comment like crazy on this live because it helps it to get into the algorithm, which if you watched the live last week was one of the things that we talked about, and it helps others to be able to know how they can fix if they're not hitting their financial goals with your website. So last week we talked all about visibility, and we talked about attraction, and we talked about getting people to see our content and being able to have simple action steps that we can do every day on social media. So if you haven't watched that live, drop social in the comments and we will hook you up to that replay as well, because it is awesome to be able to have just simple things that you can do every day that helps your content to get higher reach, but it also helps you to be able to get more people to your website, right? But here's the thing, and this is what we're covering today. You can have organic reach on social media. There might only be 2 or 3 people commenting on your posts, right? But those could be potential clients. Or you could suddenly go viral, because viral is like a random thing sometimes. Something you've said all of a sudden hooks off. But I have seen people who have gone viral and they didn't have the systems in place. And as a result, they've gone viral and it hasn't made them any money. Or they've gone viral and they've had a website that's crap or a system that's crap and they've actually lost traffic as a result, right? So this is what we're going to talk about today. If you do have a system, but maybe the system that you have built is running on an outdated model, on an outdated strategy, you're probably still struggling to get the sales. So it might not only be that you have an organic reach issue on social media, it actually might also be a systems issue. And that's what we're here to fix today. So I want you to just remember, one of the things I see people say all the time is, oh, I only got 2 views on something, or, you know, only 2 people commented. But here's the thing. First of all, start small and grow. So just know that. But the second thing is the next person that you meet on social media could be a customer, but you could lose them because you're using an outdated sales strategy or because of your system. So I see this so often on social media that over a year ago, I decided to write a hands-on practical get to work on your business workshop workshop called the Explode Your Sales Workshop. And in that workshop, what we were doing is we were helping people to simplify tech, helping people to strip the free, overwhelming fluff that is causing people not to convert. We looked at social media and how can you launch faster and make sales quicker with less time on social media. Like, drop in the chat if you started your business to have leverage, you started your business to have time freedom and also financial freedom. But so many people, they may be hitting their financial goals, but they have no time freedom, or they feel like they're always working. So how many of you feel like you're struggling with the amount of tech that you have to learn, that you're not getting anywhere fast on social media, right? Like, drop it in the chat if you really understand the pain of having so much freaking tech. And here's the thing, when you have too many different techs, hi Janine, hi Krista, so awesome to see you. When you have too many tech platforms and you're trying to get them all to freaking talk to each other, there are so many parts that can break and there are so many things that can go wrong, right? Who here is maybe they're struggling with the amount of money that they're paying on tech subscriptions? Like, you might be paying for ClickFunnels or Kajabi that are well over $97 a month. And these products are actually really overpriced nowadays for their features. They can be difficult for the person who considers themselves not tech savvy. And guess what? It's really hard for most of them unless you have some kind of website experience or you're willing to invest a lot of time, because guess what? We either pay in time or we pay in money. It's really hard to get them looking great and to get them to the conversion state. So drop it in the chat if you know that maybe in your business right now you have too many programs and too much tech that you're trying to learn, right? Yeah, it is overpriced and hard to use, 1,000,000%. And that's why I took the direction that I took, and I went from, okay, well, ClickFunnels, let's be honest, okay? ClickFunnels and Kajabi could make me a lot more money as an affiliate, right? That's the truth. Sometimes the experts are recommending these softwares to you because it makes their money, not because it's easy for you, right? And I want you to know that if you've ever felt like you're not tech savvy or, like overwhelmed with tech, it's not your fault, because the tech recommended to us by these experts, either one, they're not actually building it themselves. They have teams that are doing it. So they don't know what it's like to be an entrepreneur who's maybe doing it on their own, or maybe you only have one VA. And the tech looks crap, right? The other day I saw this amazing woman and she's launching an offer at the moment and she's fantastic at what she does. But when I clicked on her link to go and sign up, it was a hot mess express. Who thinks that, if your tech is a hot mess express, whether you're an affiliate or you are someone who's running your own business, it loses you traffic. Right? So you can have the hottest lead, like Janine, Krista, Libby, you guys can go to a website and you can be excited, and then you get there and it's so freaking chaotic, you don't know what to do. Like, drop it in the chat if you've ever been to those websites, right? So the other thing about this is they are telling you to build free lead magnet after free masterclass, after free this, free that, freaking free. And you get overwhelmed, then you have so many different things that you're trying to automate. It's not that you're not tech savvy. It's simply that, one, you're using the wrong platforms. Two, you're being given DIY videos. Like, dudes, if you could do it on your own, you would have, right? But three, you are given too many things to automate in the one hit. So this is why I talk about this level 1, level 2, level 3, whether it be with your social media or your tech, right? And here's the thing. I know this is going to sound bad, but it's straight truth because I've been in these programs, right? There are people out there that are deliberately teaching people to overwhelm people and to confuse them, because confused people, when they have bought into your programs, guess what? They buy something else, and then they buy something else, and they buy something else, because they're desperately trying to figure out what you freaking promised them on the first thing that they bought, right? And often that thing that they're getting you to buy is a much higher cost. Like, one of the people that I have seen gets you into a free thing, signs you up for a $2,000 thing, teaches you all of these bad, outdated strategies, which I'm about to cover in this video, and then, hey, guess what? You know what? I know you're overwhelmed, but suck it in. Here's $1,000 offer that you need to pay us if you really want to be successful. Like, I am not that person. So if we have never met before, my name is Faith Christiansen. I'm actually an Amazon best-selling author in entrepreneurship and small business. I wrote the Earn More, Work Less, Live Happy book because after all, that is what we're here for, right? And I'm all about helping you to simplify your social media marketing and your tech, especially if it's just you in your business, okay? We want to be able to explode your sales with less time behind the screen. So if we've never met before, drop new in the chats because I love to say hello. I'm actually a high touch person. I want to get to know you and know how I can help you. And of course, if you're someone who would love the replay, drop replay below so that we can hook you up with that link just in case the social media hits us, okay? Now, the last thing that I would just say quickly before we get into the content is if you know someone who is really struggling at the moment with their tech, maybe they're struggling to get sales, maybe they're struggling with social media, please tag them in this video. You don't share this video to your page because as we learned last week, sharing videos to your page absolutely does nothing in the algorithm, okay? So if you want to help someone and you want to help us to get this message out there, please tag anyone who you know that needs this stuff, okay? All right, let's get into the content. Stretch your fingers out, get your writing pen handy, and let's go, okay? So what I want you to think about for a moment is, what if your website right now, the one that you're using or the one that you don't have, is costing you 1 sale or 5 sales every week? What would that mean to your yearly profits? So let me give you an example. I want you to write down the cost of your signature product. So this is the thing that you're trying to get everyone to. If you don't have one, like seriously, we need to talk. But if you haven't got one that helps you to reach your financial goals in 5 sales a week, then obviously you need the Explode Your Sales workshop. But what we need to talk about here is we need to talk about what your current system is costing you right now. Okay, so if you had a goal and you have a $500 offer, for example, or maybe you have a $2,000 offer. Now, if you lost just 5 sales a week because of your tech and your systems, right? And we're going to talk about that in very soon. But if you lost 5 sales a week for 52 weeks, I want you to just see what this means to you really quickly, okay? So write down how much your offer is. Then what I want you to do, so for instance, if you take my social media spins program where everybody is learning what are the highest income producing activities that we can do on social media every day, especially if you're like time poor and want the algorithm working in your favor. But the basic version of that is $59 a month. So if I lost 5 sales per week because of my tech, that would mean over the course of the year, it would be $15,340 that I have lost in profits just because of my tech. So do the same for you. What is your cost times 5 sales per week times 52 weeks? Drop it in the chat. How much roughly would you be losing every single year just by doing that? Now, if these were VIP people for that program, it would mean $28,000, nearly $29,000 that I've lost. Drop it in the chat if you're getting what I'm saying, right? So having poor tech actually has a cost to it. Plus, here's the thing. It requires you to look for more people. If only 1% of the people that you're bringing to your website convert, it means that you have to look for more people to bring to your website in order to make sales. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, does this make sense, right? Now, what happens if, instead of having 15 different funnels and having a free this and a free that, what if we just had you write 2 really good funnels and you kept tweaking them over the course of the year? Who thinks that you may not be losing those 5 people? Of course, right? Higher conversion rate means more sales. But here's the thing. Some people don't have people converting. So they think that it's something wrong with their offer. They think it's something wrong with their program, whatever, right? But that's not the truth. In some cases, it's that you have too many options. A confused mind, especially when they don't know you very well, rarely buys, right? So if you have a free workshop and then you have a free call and then you have a free webinar and you have a free lead magnet and then you have this program and you're promoting all of that on social media, you are overwhelming people and that alone could be costing you sales, right? So in the Explode Your Sales workshop, one of the things that we're really focused on is showing how you can have just 2 funnels, just 2 automated systems that can help you to reach your financial goals. And here's the thing. Last year, I had 2 systems. I had the Explode Your Sales workshop, which ran then to a mid-ticket boot camp. That helped me to hit my financial goals, right? So there are people out there that tell you need to have free. You don't need to be free. In fact, I don't want you to be free, because I know that if you are selling something, you no doubt have spent thousands of dollars on courses. You have no doubt probably spent thousands of hours learning all the stuff. You deserve to be paid for it, okay? So drop an aha in the chat if you're already getting this. A higher conversion rate means more sales with less people, right? And that's what we really focus on in the Explode Your Sales workshop. Now, if you're an affiliate or a network marketer, I just wanted to touch on this quickly, because if you are leading people to the same thing that everybody else is leading people to, so for instance, a homepage, right? Guess what? We're going to talk about why leading people to homepages is not a good idea these days, but you look the same as everybody else. And then it really comes down to how good you're doing on social media to show your personal brand, right? I'm so glad that you're getting it. Awesome. That makes me so happy, Janine and Krista, okay? So if you are someone who is an affiliate, or you're in network marketing and that's how you bring your money in, you look like everybody else. There's nothing to differentiate you. And the only thing that differentiates you is either your personal brand, or you have a system of your own that helps you to look like an industry leader, right? Now, as a solopreneur, or someone who maybe you have one general purpose VA, right? But you need simple, profitable systems that, instead of building new systems and 30-page email sequences that most people don't even read, right? What you need to do is you need to be able to tweak constantly the things on one system. So instead of having a conversion rate of 1%, you might get that conversion rate up to 10%, and then you might get that conversion rate up to 30%. At that point, you start to run ads. But a lot of people are running ads to websites that don't freaking convert organically. Drop it in the chat if you're getting this. If your website doesn't convert organically with a warm or hot audience, you should not 1,000,000% be running ads to it, right? You need to know what are the things. There are different components for different types of funnels. So if you are leading someone to your website and they know you on social media, there's one style of funnel. If you're leading someone, so say you've spent 2 hours with me on like this workshop here, guess what? There's a different style of funnel that we need. And if you are someone who is leading cold traffic to a system, there's a different type. It requires warming them up on the sales funnel. Like, drop it in the chat if you're getting this. Some of y'all have generalized websites, which we're going to talk about in a minute, but your websites are not designed for the type of traffic that you're leading to it, right? So let's talk about old way number one. This is something that I see so commonly on social media, and it is a huge reason why so many people are losing people when it comes from their social media, okay? Just remember, you don't need necessarily a huge amount of people. You need your website to convert anyone that comes, not everyone, right? So the old way is putting a link on social media to your homepage. So your link on your Facebook, or your link on TikTok or Instagram or whatever, leads people to your homepage. Drop it in the chat if maybe you're guilty of this, right? Homepage in the chat, right? The problem with this is you are expecting people to find your offers. And here's the thing about websites. Generally, the websites that I come across, it's a big you fest, right? It's you. And if you were to put a heat map on it, you would find that you're losing people at the very beginning of your website, right? When we're creating websites, the second that they click on the link, we want it to be them focused, benefit focused, right? The other thing is, some of the websites that I get on, and I love you, and I'm going to be brutal for a second, but they're freaking ugly. And you're selling something that's $2,000, $3,000, and it's really ugly. And I totally get it. It is not your fault. Some of these tech platforms make it freaking impossible to have gorgeous funnels if you're not someone who is like a design funnel person. Like, it's just complicated, right? Drop it in the chat if that's you, right? Like, you get it. Sometimes it is freaking hard to make a pretty funnel, right? So the other thing, right, is they're not mobile optimized. Okay, we literally live in a 2-second world now. I know you may not hate it, you may not want to believe it, but it is true. TikTok has turned us into 2-second attention span Dory goldfishes, right? If people land on your site, especially if it's cold traffic and they don't know you, and it takes more than 3 clicks to check out, Guess what happens? You lose them. If it is not mobile optimized, guess what happens? You lose them, right? If it's ugly or all about you, again, you lose them, right? This is one of the biggest reasons for low conversions, okay? You want to know the truth about your website? Honestly, put a heat map on it. And you know what? You can Google it. There's a ton of different softwares that can do it, but it will show you the number of visits and it will show you where they are leaving. And the brutal truth is, for many of you, they're not even getting past that first section of your website, right? So this is why we were talking about last week in the social media video that we were doing, we were talking about warming people up and talking to people, right? And here's where we start to talk about understanding the conversion formula. High conversions, meaning more people saying yes or more people buying whatever you lead them to, equals more profit, right? So say you have that $500 offer and currently only 1% of people who click on that website link, and that's if they can even find it. Some of y'all are sending people to your homepage, which is great if you want to SEO. Good luck with G4 to most of you, right? But they're sending people to the homepage and people don't even know where to go. They're leaving before they even get to the first point of payment with you, right? But let's just say by some miracle they got to that first point of payment and only 1% of the people that visited your website said yes. So only 1% of them bought, right? So if this month from social media you got 100 eyeballs go to your website, that is only one person buying. I want you to understand these numbers because they really make a difference. Some of y'all are changing things constantly where you just need to have simple, what's the first step, what's the second step, what's the third step, and you need to be tweaking those steps rather than building something new, rather than having all this free shit to put people on your websites, right? So let's say your conversion rate goes to 5%, so that's 5 people. Our goal with our websites is to get to 30 plus. So you want to get to 30% of the people coming, 30 people in 100, saying yes, okay? So drop it in the chat, drop conversion in the chat if you get what this means. Like, do you understand the importance of your conversion rate? It's not necessarily the number of people on your social media posts. It's the number of people that are coming to the right page on your website. We're going to talk about that in a second. But those people are then buying, right? Like, drop it in the chat if you're getting it. And this is what we're talking about in the Explode Your Sales workshop. We're talking about these 1% tweaks, these small price changes. Like, we're talking about some of the mistakes that people are making when they're pricing their products, right? And that could mean thousands of dollars more in sales. We also talk about the 10 components of a high converting offer. Some of y'all don't have the components that are needed for an offer to convert, and they're really little simple things that we can tweak. So if you're someone that you know, maybe your systems are not great and you want to get on a live workshop with me, which is pen to paper, let's get to work on this, drop EYS in the comments and we will shoot you a link, okay? Here's the cold truth, right? When people come to your website, I know this is mean and I'm sorry, but they don't care about you. Right? If they have been interested enough by your social media content, you want them that as soon as they get on your website, there's something in it for them. You see the benefits, they connect to the pain maybe. Maybe they connect to the desire of what you offer. This is why sales copy is so important. And some people are skipping sales copy. I see some products which have a description that's like this big. Sorry, you're not selling me on why that's important to me. You don't even know me. Remember, people talk about this all the time. You hear it. And I heard something last week which was like, and I thought I'd share it with you quickly. They said that stories sell. Who here has ever heard a shit story and you were never buying as a result of that? It's not the stories that sell, right? It's the emotions that the stories make you feel that sell, right? So this is why sales copy and understanding sales psychology and understanding the flow of a page helps you to convert higher, right? It increases that thing. Here's the thing, when you get the people coming, even if you only got 10 people this month coming to your website, right? But the website was so on point that they had to buy, who thinks that helps your conversion numbers? Of course, right? So the next thing that I want to tackle here is ugly. Now, I know that we're not supposed to say looks matters, but when it comes to sales systems, right? When it comes to taking people off social media, looks do matter, right? Can an ugly sales funnel convert? 1,000,000%. It can. I've seen it happen. But usually it converts because, Andrea, you and I have had a chat, and I love Andrea, and you understand me, and you've seen me. It converts because you have a deeper rapport with that person, not necessarily the funnel itself, right? However, if your sales funnels and your websites are ugly, I want to be honest with you, it does lose trust with people. Some people are very looks-based, and if you look scammy, like for instance, one thing that I see on funnels all the time is a Gmail email. No, that does not look like a proper business, does it? Right? So if you look spammy, if you look low quality, then you will struggle to convert just based on looks. And I know it's awful. And guess what though? Some softwares make it ridiculously hard, right? Like, let's just be honest. Some softwares do. But if you want to command a high ticket price, first of all, we talk about you have to know what software to use, but you also need to understand that looks matter. Graphics matter. When I get on your website, and this is like something that does my head in, if I get on your website and text is on top of each other, there's no spacing, it's all words. I'm a really visual person, so if there's no pictures to break it, if the words are tiny, if the words are huge, if the words are too close together, like these little things, they all make a difference. So instead of building a new lead magnet, or instead of building a new masterclass, or instead of building a new program, you just tweak these things. Guess what? Who thinks that by the end of 2024 there would be a huge difference in your conversions? Of course, right? Because first of all, you become a master at whatever that is being sold on those funnels, right? But you also have the time to fix little things. We get it launched, we get it looking as gorgeous as we can, which is what the power of templates, right? We put it on a system that runs everything that you need at level 1, level 2, even level 3, and it's only $30 a month. It's actually under $30 a month. If you buy an annual plan, it's actually under $20. Like, that's just insane. If you would love to know about that software, just drop system in the comments, because I'm really passionate about helping you to simplify tech. I don't want you to pay $1 million, because if you want to be profitable in your business, $97 a month before you even make a sale is not smart business, okay? So imagine if you had just one platform to learn, one platform to master that keeps your business costs down. Like, who thinks that that would make a huge difference in their business? It gets you off building tech, right? Because here's the thing. There are some things that you do that make a 30% difference in your business, right? And there are some things that you do, like having a 50-step email sequence, that is just not necessary. They might be 1% changes in your sales rate, but you want to do the activity that moves the needle the most first, right? You want to be making sales, and then you can go and tweak it, right? And here's the other thing that some people don't think about is 92.3% of people nowadays are using the internet on their mobile phone. So that means a minimum of 58.33% of your website traffic is now on this itty bitty device here, right? For some industries like online coaches like us, it's 80+% of people that are coming from social media to our mobile phones. So if your website is ugly on mobile phones, it could be up to an immediate loss in conversions of 80%. Drop it in the chat if you're getting this. 80% of your traffic could be lost just because it's ugly on mobile phone, right? Now, especially if they've gone to that link without a conversation. So if you haven't talked to them because you've literally just dropped a link in the chat, or you've dropped a link in the post or whatever, and we're going to talk about that soon, but literally that alone, ugly websites, that alone could be losing you 80% if it's not mobile optimized. So in the Explode Your Sales workshop, one of the things that we talk about as our VIP is we're talking about how can you get your funnels to look gorgeous. We even give you some Canva templates that you can literally just change really fast to be able to get your funnels looking prettier, right? Let's be honest, graphics make a difference, right? We're also talking about one inexpensive software that we use for all our clients and for ourselves over 3 years now that make a difference, that you can do all your level 1 activities on that one thing. So if you really want to be a part of this live workshop, which is running this week, drop Explode Your Sales or EYS in the comments, okay? So let's tackle the biggest one for so many people, right? For so many people, it is literally the amount of tech platforms that they're doing. You need, in the level 1 and the level 2, here is what you need: the funnel software or the website software, whatever you're doing. Not a grossly overpriced one, right? But here's what you needed to do. We need to be able to create a landing page that leads people from social media to our first paid thing. Some of you have maybe 2 things that you do. Like for me, I have the Exposure Sales Workshop. For the people who need help with social media, I have the social media sprints. So in my case, I might have a link tree. Now, we don't use Linktree because we lose SEO. If we want to improve our SEO, we create that link tree on our funnel. And of course, I'm giving you the template for that in Exposure Sales Workshop VIP. But if you have 2 to 3 things, then you might lead people to a link tree. For the majority of you, you need one thing that you are tweaking. So for example, last year, for me, all year, it was the Exposure Sales Workshop. That was the one link you found everywhere on my social media. Occasionally, you might find the link when I have my podcast, and you might also have found the link to my book, but the majority of the people I'm leading to the Exposure Sales Workshop, right? So you needed to be able to do sales funnels. If you want to, you can do your own link tree. You needed to have a full email system in it, meaning you can automate things like abandoned cart sequences, because if you don't have a simple, even just 1 or 2 emails for abandoned cart sequence, you are losing money, right? But you needed to be able to segment the list, okay? So someone comes to the Exposure Sales Workshop page, for example, they fill in page 1, so part 1 where you put your name and email, but they don't fill in part 2. Guess what? I can send them an abandoned cart sequence, right? My system automatically puts them on my email list, right? So you need something that can do that. But one thing to learn, because when you've got the basics of that, guess what? It's the same whether you're doing an email, a sales page, a thank you page, a course, a membership area. It's all the same, rather than trying to have linking all of these softwares together, which just does my head in, right? The other good thing is you need it to be able to handle payment plans or subscriptions. Now, if you have a membership, oh my God, in the Exposure Sales Workshop, we are teaching you one tweak that helps you to be able to grow your memberships, something that makes a huge difference, and it's 2-word tweak, right? And then finally, if you really want to explode your sales faster, you need affiliate tracking software, because if you're doing it alone, we all know you're doing it the hard way, right? And let's be honest, there are so many people right now that are looking for passive income streams. Like, how many of you are looking for passive income streams? Like, you love what you do, but if you could earn some more money from something else, that would make a huge difference to you. That is why Social Sellers has an affiliate program, right? We help you to make more money, because you know what? You have a genius zone I don't have, and I have a genius zone you don't have. So it makes sense that I lead people to you and you lead people to me, right? Totally makes sense, right? So do you have that in your business? Word of mouth marketing is still one of the biggest forms of marketing in the world. And here's the thing, if social media kicks you off, if you have affiliates, guess what? It doesn't matter, because they're still promoting you. Like, drop it in the chat if that's an aha moment for you, right? So let's look at way number 2. You're doing posts, you're dropping the links everywhere to a website that is low converting, right? So your website link is in your images, the website links in your posts, it's in comments. It's like a major spam fest, right? And here's the thing. Yes, it works for some of the big names because they're working on volume. They have 10,000 people following them. And even if only 1% of them, that's still 100 people. But I don't know about y'all, but 10,000 people is not my goal. I want loyal raving fans. Like, drop it in the chat if you want loyal raving fans and not just 10,000 random followers, right? Here's the other thing. Like we were talking about, their stuff is being built by tech and sales copy experts. So their conversion rates are usually much higher than someone who's maybe doing it on their own. And of course, they're constantly got those people looking at the numbers and tweaking things. And as small names, we don't have that quantity. We don't have that time, right? So we really need to focus on quality. And obviously, like we talked about last week, the algorithms see all the links. And if you are putting links everywhere, just like a newspaper, a magazine, or a TV station, if you want to promote, you pay, right? And people are not stupid. Like, how many of you, when you know you want something, you ask for the link, or you message people, or you drop it in the comments, right? So You're not stupid. You know how to ask, right? Here's the other thing that I found really interesting. This was a stat that I learned over the weekend. According to InsideSales.com, 76% of people are more likely to buy if you have some form of DM conversation with them, because you're taking the time to build trust. So just dropping a link everywhere could also be losing you 76%. If you're not taking the time to at least say hello and compliment them or whatever, and we talked about those kinds of things last week. But 76%, just by having a link in there, and people go to that link, your sales copy may not be the best, for instance, right? They look at the price and they're like, no, because they don't understand the value, right? 76%. So number 3, the old school way that you're seeing is they're talking about having a free call or a free something, right? The problem is the free call is not an effective use of your time, right? If you want to have time freedom, right, it's not expandable to be doing free call after free call after free call, because the only way that you make sales is if you get on a call and you are good at converting on that call, because some people are getting the calls, but they're just not great on conversion. And as a result, they're getting on so many free calls, right? The other thing about that is a lot of them are getting on free calls with unqualified leads. So by nature, they have a low conversion rate, right? So an unqualified lead could be someone who doesn't understand your system. Sometimes people will book calls with you just to pump you for information with no intention of ever buying. Drop it in the chat if you've ever met those people, right? Like, they're everywhere, right? Here's the problem also with free masterclasses and free webinars. You're putting people on your email list that are freebie hunters, and yes, a percentage of them convert, but here's the industry average, 1 to 3%. So that means you're filling your email list with freebie hunters that have a low conversion rate. Now, if you're using a software platform like Eventbrite, there is too many steps to access the information. So you've already got a low conversion rate of like 30% of people showing up to your live event anyway, right? And then there's so many steps with Eventbrite. I don't know how many times I've gone to Eventbrite and signed up for something, and they make it so fucking complicated to join it that I just quit. So that could be happening to you as well. When there's too many steps, remember 3 things, 3 clicks. If it's more than 3 clicks, when you already have a low rate of show up, which statistically for free webinars and free masterclasses, the show up rate is under 30%. So that means 70% of people who register will probably never show up, right? So that's not a great number to start with. But then to have something that's so complicated for them to join, it doesn't work, right? The other thing about free webinars and masterclasses, how many of you are adverse to them just simply because a free webinar is code for, here's a bunch of fluff, it's going to be 30 minutes about me, it's going to be a 40-minute sales pitch, and you're going to learn fucking nothing, it's going to be a waste of your time. Drop it in the chat if you've ever been on those webinars, right? So when we use the word webinar, sometimes that alone lowers the conversion rate, right? Because people have been scammed by webinars before. Right? So if you are going to, yeah, exactly, right? Totally. I've been on those webinars, and I personally don't get on webinars anymore. If you give a post that I am really interested in, I will ask you for your link, and I will go to that link and I will make a decision based on your sales page. I am not getting on webinars and free anything anymore. And that's another thing about high quality leads, which is not in my notes, but high quality leads really value their time. You are not getting a CEO of a company on a webinar, right? They pay. They invest money when there's something that they want to learn. So that's something to keep in mind as well, okay? Now, also, if people don't know you well, which is often the case with social media traffic, y'all, some of you know me really well because you've been with me a long time, and some of you may be new to my thing. Guess what? Unless you're really good at writing sales copy, quite often they don't go through all the rigmarole because their care factor drops, right? So again, it causes a lower show up rate. You might have 10 people that register and 1 turns up live. Well, if only 1 person comes live to your event, could you convert them? Yes. Are the chances there that you probably won't get a sale? Yes. right? So this is why we want to be, maybe, how many of you have been taught to run those webinars and those free masterclasses where it's like 40 minutes of sales and it's 30 minutes about you and you're giving really basic points that is no value, right? Like, how many of you have been guilty? Yeah, exactly, Winona. You don't waste your time either, right? Neither do I. Right? Send me your link. I'll look at it. If your link is interesting to me, if it's an offer that's interesting to me, I buy. The same with free calls. I offended someone the other day because she said, oh, I'll jump on a free call with you. I said, I'm sorry, I really value my time and I really value your time. I don't jump on free calls anymore. Because how many of you drop free call in the chat if you've ever been spammed on those calls and it's such a hard press of sales that it feels really yucky, right? Anyway, this is what not to do when someone like me answers that way. She goes, well, you're just self-sabotaging yourself. You're just making excuses. I'm like, no, I just don't get on free calls because it's a waste of my time. So, side note, but don't do that, right? Don't shame someone because they don't get on your stuff, right? But, okay, so we talked about all the ways that don't work. So what works, okay? So here's the new way. I want you to think about this for a second because if you've been on this week's and last week's, you've seen me doing this. If you're going to do free content, right? Yeah, exactly, Janine, no free calls, me neither, right? If you're going to do free content, it must be mass shareable with the minimal amount of effort from the people you want to attend as possible, right? So if you want faster reach, this masterclass, you'll notice it's not being done in a group. Why? Because guys, if you know people that would get value from this, tag them in the comments, right? You can't do that if it's a group. Someone has to be invited to a group. They have to fill out all these questions. I'm not filling out the questions. Then they have to accept it. And then you're making it too complicated for people to get onto the content that really helps them to convert. Like, how many of you are interested in the Explode Your Sales workshop because I've just spent 40 minutes with you helping you? Now, whether you join or not, that's up to you, right? But these workshops are designed to be super high impact, super high value. But if I was doing it on a live, well, potentially 30% of you are not going to show up, right? You're going to maybe come and then you couldn't finish it. So it's pointless, right? So this is why I do them on social media, right? I do my free content, the super helpful stuff, first of all, because I really want to help people. I remember what it's like not to have thousands and thousands of dollars to pay on courses. I want someone that helped me. So this helps more people, right? 2, it allows you, if you know people, to be able to tag them. There's no barriers of entry. You literally can come, watch for as long as you want. You can come back, watch it later, whatever. But who knows? Sometimes the social media algorithm gets us. So if, of course, you would like the replay and you want to make sure you get a replay, drop the word replay because we'll get you an email link to a secret area, which is all free, for you to get the replay link, right? But drop it in the chat if you're totally getting this. If you're going to be doing masterclasses and free stuff, do it on social media in a way that can get reach. I then take this video, I download it, I can email it out for people on a replay, I can put it on YouTube if I wanted, I can take snippets off it, repurpose it for TikTok, lead back to YouTube. Like, there's so many different things, right? Does this make sense, guys, right? Of course, if you know someone, tag them in this, okay? Number 2, new way number 2. I want you to think for a second. You are a business. If I walk into the plumber or the mechanic or the landscaper or anyone on my street, they're not giving me an hour of their time for free, right? They're just not. So when you are leading people from social media, lead them directly to the first paid step with you. So for me, that is one of 2 things. It's the Explode Your Sales workshop. That is a low ticket product, but super high value product, right? Or it's the social media sprints. Again, that's a low ticket product, right? That then leads to other things if you need more help. Some people don't need more help and that's where they stay. Some people graduate and that makes me happy because my goal is to not have you relying on me because, hello, sometimes people get sick, right? So the workshop that I ran last year, just before I finished for the year, that workshop had a 62.5% conversion rate. Drop wow in the chat if you think a 62.5% 5% conversion rate is helpful for your business. Of course, it is, right? So that I did 2 workshops about 2 weeks apart. That resulted in my Business Accelerator Bootcamp, which is a mid-ticket product, being completely fully booked. Who thinks that's helpful? Of course, right? So it's about having a smart funnel system. And here's the thing. You will still get the freebie people, because even if they don't pay, let's just say they go to your order form, they fill out the first part. See, this is where smart systems help, right? They fill out the first part, but they don't fill out the payment part. Guess what? My system tags them and puts them on my email list. So you can still build your email list, but you're building your email list with people who are actually interested in buying from you. Does that make sense? Right? And that's what we go through in depth in the Explode Your Sales workshop. And guess what? The VIP training also has 2 additional trainings that break this down even further. So I actually draw out the sales funnel system for you and the automation that you do on the first level, so you understand this at a deeper level. Okay? Now, if you're a bricks and mortar business or a more of a traditional business, then we just get a little bit creative. And I thought a really good example that I see here in my local restaurant, there's actually 2 restaurants in my area that do this, right? So they actually, when you come to order, they ask you if you would be interested in joining their membership program. I'm like, oh, that's really interesting. What's that? So you pay $20 to join one restaurant's membership program. And for the whole year, you get 10% off your meal every time you come in. Who would think that they come back to that restaurant just because they get 10% off their meal, right? Of course. Guess what else? They're putting people on an email list, right? So there's 2 different restaurants in my area that do this, okay? So you can either pay for it, or if you refer 3 people to join the program and they join for the $20, you get yours for free. Drop it in the chat if that is a really smart way for local business owners to start to get people coming. Of course, right? Because they've just put paying customers on their email list that they now can build a relationship with, right? The other example of it that's a bricks and mortar thing, because y'all know I love traveling, so mine are always travel based, but I pay $400 a year to be a member of a hotel program. Right? So that I'm paying a $400 membership fee. Now with that $400 membership fee, I get a free night in one of their hotels, and they also give me 50% of my dining when I bring 2 people. Do you see smart, innovative ways to bring more people to your business, whether you are a business online or you're a business offline? Of course, another thing, you see it, McDonald's, all of that, right? They have loyalty cards. If you buy 5 coffees, you get 1 free. How many of you have ever gotten a free coffee from a loyalty card? Of course. So it's okay. Well, how can we create these systems and make it smart systems no matter what type of business we're in? Right? Whew. Okay, so I don't know about you, but how many of you have gotten a ton of notes from this masterclass, right? I really wanted to get on here and help you. So drop an aha in the chat if you've had some light bulb moments. Let's get this into the algorithm, right? But I want to just talk really quickly about the Explode Your Sales workshop. It is running live this Friday. In this workshop, we are literally sitting down with you. We are simplifying your tech. We're simplifying your offers. We're simplifying your social media. We're simplifying your automation, right? My plan is that by the end of it, you have a marketing ecosystem that works for your business with your goals, right? Because here's the thing, there's a million ways to $1 million. And if you are making $1 million and you have time freedom, I'm never going to tell you to change it, right? But if you are struggling in your business, maybe because you are using one of these outdated strategies, maybe because tech is too hard, maybe because social media is so freaking overwhelming, let's simplify it. Now, this is not a bullshit, fluffy workshop where it's 90% about me. I think I talk about myself for like 2 minutes, right? But it's all about helping you to do the work and to sit down and create something that could work for you. Now, I don't have a $6,000 product at the end of it either, so it's not a 40-minute sales pitch, right? But what I really want you to do is I want you to be able to create a customer journey that is profitable for you this year. And then let's get it automated so that you can actually have less time behind the screen while you're earning more. Like, who would love that, right? That is what I'm all about. So in this workshop, we're talking about how you simplify everything. How do you have a simple marketing ecosystem with the tech that goes behind it? We're also showing you a secret way to get even more traffic. Who would love that on top of increasing conversions, you get more traffic, right? This is literally my favorite workshop. It's one of the favorite things that I do because it has such big aha moments for the people who are completely overwhelmed with business, right? It is insanely good for helping you to get clarity on what to automate, like where do you start, right? And how to do it in a way that makes you money without all the tech overwhelm. So if you would love to join the live, obviously the best insane value is if you go VIP, because that has a whole bunch of trainings in it. And also that allows you to get access to all of the new tech training that I'm going to be putting in there this year, at a cheap price because it's about to raise in price. But if you would love to join, please drop EYS in the comments and either myself or the person who tagged you in this video will get back to you. So there we go. Oh my God, I did it in 50 minutes. I'm like super proud of myself, right? But if you would love to join in, I hope though that whether you join or not, that you got an insane amount of value from this. Right? Like I want to make sure that whether you join my programs or you don't, I'm helping you in some way, right? So let's get in on it. Let's change the systems. Let's simplify shit so that you can actually have a to-do list that is not a mile long. You can have the automation at level 1. Here's the thing. Most people I meet, they never actually need to go past a level 1 of automation in order to hit 6 figures. They don't. Right? But here's the thing, so many experts have you doing level 4 automation before you even launch. So you are spending $2,000 on their programs and you're never making a cent back of it, because here's what some people teach you. They'll teach you a free lead magnet to a free masterclass to a free beta program. I am not about that. Anytime you spend money with me, I want you to be able to earn that money back again. Right? I want you to have a system that's like, okay, I'm level 1. What do I do? Okay, I've done level 1. I've been running it for a little bit of time. I've tweaked that. Level 2, what do I do? Level 3, level 4, right? This is something that I learned was huge and so necessary because I was trying to help you have amazing stuff, right? But the truth is, it overwhelms the majority of people. And most people, even myself included, for this first 6 months of the Explode Your Sales workshop, I did not have all that automation, right? I literally built the funnel and I got to selling it and I made money and then I tweaked it and then later last year, I put more automation behind it, right? Sometimes you just need level 1 activities and you just need to start making some freaking money to get the money back on all the freaking courses that you've invested in, right? So that's it. Hi, Lynn. So awesome to see you. Thank you, Andrea. It's so nice to see you. Thank you, Al. Thank you, Janine. Thank you, Krista, for all being on live. I hope this has helped you. And of course, please comment like crazy so that we can get it out into the algorithm. Have an amazing day, guys. Have a good, amazing, profitable week. And I'll talk to you on social media very soon. Bye for now.